A Big Mac used to cost $4. Today it's almost 8. That's not inflation. Or at least it's not the inflation they have been telling you about. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you the 4 real reasons everything costs more. And the one reason nobody in the news is talking about. It's the one that actually explains everything. Eggs up 62%. Rent in the average US city up 29% in 5 years. Netflix from $11 a month to 25. Concert tickets doubled. Car insurance up almost 50%. A used Toyota Camry now costs more than a new one did in 2019. Your grocery bill, your streaming bill, your coffee, your gym, your dentist, everything now costs more. If you feel like your money doesn't go as far as it used to, you are not imagining it. And the official inflation number, it's technically correct, but it's hiding something much bigger. So let's break this down properly. There are 4 reasons economists will actually explain. And then there is a fifth reason, and the one I promise that ties it all together. Reason 1, the money printing hangover. So, the reason number 1 is the money itself got diluted. Between 2020 and 2022, the United States printed roughly 40% of all the dollars that have ever existed. That have ever existed. Let me say that again. 40% of every dollar that has ever existed in 2 years. Here's what that actually means for you. If you had $10,000 sitting in your savings account in 2019, the number on your screen hasn't changed, but the amount of stuff that $10,000 can actually buy, that's dropped by almost a quarter. You didn't get a you didn't get poorer on paper. You got poorer in reality. This is the part that everyone understands. More dollar chasing the same amount of stuff means each dollar buys less. Simple. But if that's the whole story, prices should have stopped rising once the printing stopped. They didn't. So, what's going on? Reason number 2, the global supply chain. Remember, when everyone said this would be fixed by 2023, it mostly was on paper. Shipping costs came back down, ports cleared up, but something more permanent happened underneath. Let me show you with one product, the iPhone. In 2019, Apple's supply chain was basically a single highway, China to your pocket. Today, Apple is splitting production across India, Vietnam, and Mexico. That sounds great for geopolitics. It's terrible for prices because building a new factory in India costs more than running an existing factory in China. And somebody has to pay for that. And who is that? It's you. Multiply that iPhone story across cars, appliances, electronics, clothing. Companies aren't trying to make things cheaper anymore. They are trying to make them secure, and security is expensive. But okay, supply chains explain a lot. They don't explain why your lord raised your rent 3 years in a row. Which brings us to reason number 3, and this is where it starts to get uncomfortable. So, what's reason number 3? It's corporate profit margins. Between 2020 and 2024, a group of the largest US corporations, food companies, retailers, energy companies, raised their prices faster than their actual costs went up. And they kept them there. This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's in their own earning calls. CEOs literally bragged about it to investors. The pattern went like this: inflation gave them cover. Everyone expected prices to rise, so they raised them by more than they needed to. And because every other company in the industry did the same thing, no one got punished for it. You couldn't shop around because everyone did it at once. Economists have a name for this now. They call it greedflation, and the data on corporate margins, which are at 70 years high, backs it up. But then even greedflation has a ceiling. Eventually, consumers push back and pricing power fades. So, if all of these are winding down, why are prices still climbing? That's the reason number four. And this one is not going away. Reason number four is structural shifts. The word itself has changed. Three structural forces are baked into prices now, and they are not going away with a policy tweak. First, demographics. The developed world is running out of working age people. Fewer worker means higher wages, which sounds great, but it also means higher prices for everything those workers make. Second, climate. A bad harvest in Brazil is now your coffee bill. A hurricane in Florida is now your insurance premium. Climate disasters cost the global economy over $1 trillion. Housing. The US is short roughly 4 million homes. 4 million homes. You cannot build your way out of that in 5 years. And as long as the shortage exists, rent keeps climbing and everything down. Nobody on the news talks about. And once you see it, you will see it everywhere. The real reason, expectations. The fifth reason is expectations. And expectations are the engine that keeps the whole thing running long after the other causes have faded. Here is how it works. Imagine you own a small restaurant. Last year, your food costs went up 8%. This year, your suppliers say it will be another 5. So when you sit down to write next year's menu prices, what do? You don't raise them by 5%. You raise them by 7 because you want a little buffer just in case. They all eventually stop pushing. But expectations are self-fulfilling. Once people believe prices will keep rising, they will. And the only way to break that loop is something painful, usually a recession. So, what does this mean for you? So, what do you actually do with this? Three things. One, two, your wages are lagging. Companies updated their prices in real time. They did not update your salary. Not everything rises equally. Housing, healthcare, and services will almost certainly keep climbing. But electronics, used cars, and some imported goods might actually get cheaper as supply chains normalize. So spend accordingly. The prices you are paying today aren't random. They are the sum of every decision made during the pandemic, every supply chain that got rebuilt, every margin that got expanded, every expectation that got baked in. The good news? You now understand more about this than the most financial commentators on TV. If you want to know where this all goes next, what happens if expectations really do come unglued and a major currency actually collapses, I broke that down in this next video. Watch it now.